Most people hear the word redundancy and think of a job loss, an email, a meeting, a sudden ending you didn't choose. But often it doesn't show up like that. It slips in quietly. You're still showing up. The meetings, they still happen. The work continues as before, but fewer decisions now include you. Your judgment isn't shaping direction anymore. You're part of the system, but mostly to execute rather than influence. The system, it keeps running. It just doesn't really need you the way it used to. What's easy to miss is this. Redundancy isn't just losing a role. It's what happens when a structure quietly lets go of you. When a structure loosens, the first thing to fade isn't income, it's rhythm. That steady sense of where you fit, how your week is organised, how your contribution matters. Next comes identity. Not your core self, but who you are inside the system. Then comes visibility, that quiet reassurance that what you notice still actually carries some weight. It can go unrecognised, and that's okay. Just noticing it is the first step towards regaining some control. Most systems aren't designed to grow old with the people inside them. They optimize for speed, scale, and predictability, not longevity. Over time, roles narrow and experience stops fitting as neatly as it used to. You see it when decisions rely more on data than on your judgment. Processes take over the choices that you used to make, or maybe experience is now only asked for when things go wrong. None of that means you're losing your edge. It's just the system moving on. Redundancy, whether formal or informal, isn't a reflection on your value. It's a signal that the structure no longer knows what to do with what you bring. Even when a role weakens or disappears, your capabilities don't vanish. You still have pattern recognition built over decades, judgment shaped by real consequences, the ability to see how one choice ripples through everything else, and a sense for what actually works, not just what looks good. For example, you can often spot problems forming long before they appear on an Excel dashboard. You know which shortcuts will cost more later. You understand people in ways a process never could. These skills aren't obsolete, they just stop being automatically rewarded. That can feel uncomfortable at first because it means your value is no longer tied to being slotted into someone else's structure. Earlier in life, leverage came from being chosen. You were hired, promoted, included. Later, leverage comes from choosing, deciding for yourself what deserves your energy, what doesn't, which structures you participate in, and which you step back from. Redundancy forces a pause, and in that pause, something shifts. You see how much of your life revolved around being needed by a system that no longer knows what to do with your depth. It can feel unsettling, but it's also the moment choice quietly replaces obligation, where you stop asking, where do I fit? And start asking, what actually fits me now? This isn't stepping back, it's taking ownership. This isn't about hustling into the next thing. If you skip this step, you risk replacing identity with activity, structure with busyness, meaning with motion. You take on projects you don't care about, say yes too quickly, or recreate the same pressures in a slightly different form. Leverage comes from clarity, not from urgency. It comes from noticing what already works and what actually matters. I'll say this quickly because it's not the main point here, but it matters. I've been formally made redundant twice. What surprised me both times wasn't so much losing my job, it was realising how much of my sense of usefulness depended on a structure that had already moved on. The insight didn't arrive immediately. It came once I stopped rushing to recreate the old rhythm somewhere else. We often imagine leverage as something dramatic, a new role, a bold reinvention, a visible pivot. But real leverage, that shows up quietly. It looks like having stronger boundaries, setting clearer standards, noticing sooner when something doesn't fit, and taking time before deciding. You get to stop justifying your choices to systems that don't need it. You decline opportunities that only look impressive, and you give yourself time to notice what consistently drains you and what doesn't. You stop asking, where do I fit? And start asking, what actually fits me now? This isn't stepping back, it's choosing deliberately. This isn't just for people who've been let go. It's for anyone who can feel a system loosening its grip, even if nothing has officially changed yet. If you notice that the old structure no longer reflects who you are, incentives feel misaligned, your rhythm no longer supports depth or meaning, then this moment is already relevant. You're in a transitional space between what was and what's next. Redundancy in any form strips away borrowed authority. What remains, though, is more durable perspective, discernment, choice. And leverage doesn't come from forcing those back into the same container. It comes from recognizing that you no longer need the container to validate what you already carry. It's not what do I replace this with, it's what becomes possible now that I'm no longer defined by it. If you're in this in between space where the old structure is loosened, but the new one isn't clear, you're not stuck. In the next video, we'll explore how leverage can guide direction, how to use clarity and experience to create momentum for what matters most. Because this isn't about rushing, it's about stepping into this phase with calmness, strategy, and choice. Your value isn't fading, it's just changing shape, and the best paths are yours to chart. I'll see you in the next one.